Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, here we go. Third hour kicks off right now on this Thursday morning of August 6th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here. Coming up an hour from now, Brewers reporter Hunter Baumgart will be joining us again. We'll recap post-trade deadline, his thoughts on the Brewers moves. Also, Brewers win last night. Kyle Harrison looking ahead to Dustin May's first start. So we'll talk about all that with Hunter coming up in about an hour. At the bottom of this hour, though, so in about 25 minutes, we'll chat with Jake Bolks, conservation warden for the state of Wisconsin. So second to final call if you have any hunting, fishing, outdoor related questions for him. Please text those on over to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Don't forget, tonight, Express, our final Tailgate Thursday night tonight. So grab your tickets to the Express game. Let's pack Carson Park. We've got just 3 more home games of the regular season, 3 more games of the regular season left to go. They are going to the postseason, so let's keep that momentum going. Let's do our part as fans to keep that momentum going here for the Express. But that's tonight, Duluth, and then Waterloo tomorrow. Waterloo on Saturday. We talked some football last hour. Heard from Cam Acord, heard from Jonathan Gannon, Packers. Special teams coordinator and defense coordinator. Packers have a closed practice today, but Goody and Matt LaFleur are expected to address the media beforehand. So if it does pop up before we're off the air, we'll keep you posted on anything that may, I guess, be newsworthy in that. But I want to kick off this hour with my 3 up and 3 down. Let's start off with my 3 up. First off, Logan Henderson. Logan Henderson, the other night, had a great game. Great comment about wanting to be a Brewer and thanked Matt Arnold for not, trading him. But against the Pirates, 6 innings, gave up a couple solo shots, 8 Ks. Logan Henderson, 6-1 on the season with a 2.70 ERA. Guy's pitching really well here as of late. Stock is up. Number 2, his teammate, Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison last night coming off the injured list, and he looked phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think you can make a case, Harrison, Logan, and Jacob Izarowski, the top trio of starting pitchers in Major League Baseball so far. I think you can. And then just to change it up, you could do Brewers overall, but I'll just change it up. If you're a young running back and you've just been balling as of late, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid a lot of money. So up, I'm going to go running backs. For my 3 down, I'm going to go, I know he had a couple hits last night, big RBI. Hopefully that is something to kind of get him going. And I'm talking about Christian Yelich. But Christian Yelich, I got to put on the down list right now because he hasn't been playing that well. Good game last night with a couple hits in the RBI, but we got to start stacking that. It's got to be more of a consistent thing now. My other down, I'm going to right now because they're not playing the greatest. So I gotta throw them in there. Dodgers. They're riding a 6-game losing streak right now. So put them down. If the playoffs started today, they'd be the 3 seed in the National League. I don't think they're panicking. I don't think they're concerned. But for this point, for our 3 up and 3 down, I got to put them in there. And one more for my down. Just from what I've seen from the videos and some of the thoughts. Now, this isn't probably I don't have probably everything in front, but it sure looks like Keyshawn Nixon, he's been a little concerned. We need Keyshawn to be playing at a high level this year, and from some of the videos that I've seen, I don't know. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put it that he's down. The ups were definitely easier. I could have gone Brandon Cisse. I could have gone a few different things here too, but I'll go Keyshawn Nixon. So that's my 3 up and 3 down. If you want to participate in 3 up and 3 down, you can send them on over. Okay, you can also join in on the Section 105 chat where it looks like we've got a few people talking back and forth in there too. Brewers, Dustin May. What has me excited about Dustin May coming over to the Brewers is what could the Brewers do with this veteran pitcher that maybe the Cardinals could do or maybe the Dodgers couldn't do? Is there something that Chris Hook, Jim Henderson, this group could kind of untap or really focus on? There's been so many examples, so many cases of the Brewers bringing in a pitcher and the Brewers turning them into a really good starter or a really good pitcher. Really, and I think they really focus on, okay, what does this guy do well? And how can we maybe make it better? How can we go out there and continue, or how can we go out there and help improve this guy? We saw it with Quinn Priester last year. We've seen it with Kyle Harrison this year. We've seen the growth from Logan Henderson. We've seen the jump from Jacob Mizorowski, for crying out loud. So that's what has me excited to see what Dustin May, how he can perform with this group. And then you factor in, we've said it many times, don't overlook the fact that, and maybe he won't catch today, I'm not sure, but, Contreras or even Sanchez. I think having either of those guys, a little bit more Contreras, but having those guys and how much they have really helped out this pitching staff this year has been remarkable. And I think it goes overlooked. They don't get enough credit for what they do, for how much they're working with that young pitching staff. It's a two-way street. A lot of the credit, a lot of the attention goes on the pitchers. When things are going great, it's the pitchers. When things are going bad, it's the pitchers. But we got to give them some credit too, I think, to those catchers for how well they have been working with some of these younger pitchers and some of these inexperienced pitchers. Contreras has been right there with it. Even Gary Sanchez too. They deserve a ton of credit. So that's what has me excited to see what Dustin May can do with this group, with this coaching staff, and with those catchers. He's got talent. There's no question about it. He's got talent. The biggest thing for him has just been maybe a little inconsistency at times. Can the Brewers rein that in? Can they do it? We'll get our first glimpse this afternoon. Let's talk some more Brewers. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be back here in just a couple minutes. Nobody plans for an accident, but when the unexpected happens, you want a team that you can trust. And at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, they are proud to be locally owned and operated, providing quality collision repair and hometown service to drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Their experienced team takes pride in every repair, treating your vehicle with the same care and attention that they would give their own. When you need collision repair that you can count on, choose the people who live and work right here in your community. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, locally owned, locally trusted, and here to get you back on the road. All right, final call now. We got about 12 minutes until he's on, so final call right now. for more questions for Mr. Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin, for our outdoor chat here coming up at the bottom of the hour. So any hunting, fishing, outdoor, whatever type of questions when it comes to, some regulations and rules, text it. Text it on over to us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. All right, so we were talking a little Brewers there with Dustin May getting back on track, but Kyle Harrison yesterday, dude, looked awesome. Awesome. You pair that up with Logan Henderson. How about this for a number here? When we look at Miz, Logan Henderson, and Kyle Harrison, all right? We know the ERAs are good. They're stacking up some wins. But National League starters with the highest K rate this season, minimum of 50 innings pitched. Number one is Jacob Misiorowski at 40.6%. Number two, Logan Henderson, 32.3%. Zach Wheeler's third at 31.3%, but Kyle Harrison is right on his heels, 31.1%. Those three are striking out a lot of people. We know the ERAs. I mean, we've talked about it. We've gone through it. Do you have the confidence as we inch a little bit closer to the postseason here that those three, regardless of how young or maybe inexperienced they may be, do you have the confidence that those three can carry this team to a World Series? The Brewers didn't go out there and get Skubal. They tried. And it sounds like they tried their hardest, their darndest, to go out and get Skubal. I mean, if they could have held on to Logan Henderson and somehow got Skubal, you're talking about a top four, please. And I think that's where you would have had a ton of enthusiasm, excitement from Brewers fans. And why wouldn't you? But do you trust these three? Do you have the confidence in these three that they can get you to the series? I'm sure there's going to be some concerns of youth, inexperience. Misiorowski got the experience from last year. But you got now Kyle Harrison, who's been in the league for a few years, and I think that people kind of forget about it, but we're talking like, okay, playoffs and deep runs, and then, Logan Henderson, still a youngster. But maybe that works out in their favor just a little bit. Maybe it works out for them because they're too young to know. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't want to say the other version of that, but they're too young to know any different. They're too, whereas a veteran, all right, maybe if they continue to get to postseason, but struggling and whatever have you, then it kind of gets in their mind. We can make cases for both sides. Yes, it'd be nice to have a veteran that's had postseason success for these youngsters to kind of maybe feed off of, have some guidance. But maybe these young guys, they're mature beyond their years, and they're just too young to know, and they go out there and boom, boom, boom. They'll be nervous when postseason comes and the butterflies start to roll around in their stomach a little bit. But if we just look straight at the facts, which are stats and which are numbers and the performances that they have had so far this year, it's hard not to say that, yeah, I trust those dudes. I trust those three to lead us to the series. they're at the point, Miz, Harrison, Logan Henderson, they're at the point for me whenever they start a game. Man, I'm feeling good about coming away with a W. Because more times than not this year, what have they done? They have put the Brewers in a position to win. They have done their job from a pitching standpoint. They have done their job. And that's all you can ask from a starting pitcher. Go out there, shut down the other lineup. Don't allow a lot of runs. Go out there, dominate. Put in a quality start. And more times than not, those three have done it. And they continue to do it. We're approaching 3/4 of the season in the books. The final quarter is almost here. We've seen a decent enough sample size with these three that why shouldn't we have the confidence in those guys to go out there in big moments, in big games? I mean, Kyle Harrison on the mound against Paul Skeens last night. Last year, we were making a big deal about it when it was Miz versus Paul Skeens. And I know Paul Skeens isn't pitching at a high level this year, or highest level. He has set the bar so high, but I trust these three. And I feel good about these three going forward. And if Dustin May can go out there and pitch at a high level, then we know the 4. But I think right now, that 4 starter, if we have an eye towards the postseason, it might be a little bit up in the grabs. I think the Brewers want Dustin May to be it, and Dustin May have the edge. But if he struggles or it just doesn't click, and say Shane Drone goes out there and plays well, Robert Gasser goes out there and pitches well, all right, maybe it's a little bit closer. Maybe they get a little creative. But I think they've got their top 3 starters figured out when it comes to the postseason. Let's take a quick break. We're going to switch gears, and we'll chat with Jake coming up in just a few minutes. When your vehicle needs attention, make it easy on yourself. Just trust the team at AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. With 2 convenient locations, AJM Automotive makes taking care of your car, truck, or SUV super simple. Need service? Where scheduling an appointment is quick and easy. All you have to do is visit ajmautomotiveservices.com and book online when it works for you. And if the unexpected happens and you're stuck on the side of the road, AJM's towing service is there to help get you and your vehicle where you need to go. From routine maintenance to unexpected repairs, AJM Automotive Service is your local partner for honest, dependable auto care. 2 Eau Claire locations, easy online scheduling, trusted service when you need it the most. That's AJM Automotive, where they keep you moving. All right, let's catch up with our good friend, Mr. Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin. Jake, how you doing, sir?
Morning. Doing well. Busy week, but doing well.
Yeah, busy week as it's, just kind of getting ready for upcoming fall or hunting or just kind of the fishing. I mean, weather-wise, It's been really nice.
A little bit of all of that. There's been more fishermen out, a few more ATV, UTVs. I know it hasn't been like a long stretch of cool weather, but like you just said, when it's a little bit cooler, it really motivates people to be outside because it's not 95 or super humid. So more people out and about, as well as National Night Out was on Tuesday. I'm sure a lot of the listeners went to one of their local communities, did their National Night Out. I was down in Altoona, and that's always a fun night. But it's a lot of work to get everything out there, get them all up. So kudos to the Altoona Police Department and city for running that. And but no, it's good. It's a good time of year.
So Jake,
lots to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I know I've been kind of perusing some of the. I know we got tags going on sale here soon and such, but I did see this from the Wisconsin DNR too. Is kind of getting ready for, is it the disabled hunters hunting? Because, it's coming up is there a date in September that is coming up where you got to figure out or apply, is it?
Are you talking about the gun hunt for hunters with disabilities?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so that one's a little bit more unique. You do got to get all the permits, and you got to get signed up for that earlier. The thing about the gun hunt for hunters with disabilities, it's kind of a long thing. That's the season. It's like the first week of October. It looks like this year it's October 3rd through 11th. It's different than the youth deer, and it's different than just being a disabled hunter. That's something where you have to like be approved on a list and be hunting on a property that's been approved to kind of have this extra early gun deer season. So you can go online if you're interested in it. If you have a disability, you think you might qualify, it looks like you have up until September 15th to sign up with a sponsor. So go to our website and check that out. The main thing is it's, I don't know why, because like I feel like a few 5-10 years ago I wasn't seeing as much of it, but it seems like each year we're kind of running into a few more hunters out on the roads gun hunting in October. And their explanation is that they thought this was a special season for them, and it's not. It's something where it's on a property, you're signed up with a sponsor. It's not just if you have a Class A disability you can go gun hunt October 3rd.
Gotcha. Speaking of the youth hunt, Jake, I want to kind of ask you a question on that, just to kind of give a scenario. So say I have a 9-year-old who doesn't have a hunter's education, hasn't graduated from hunter's education. Could they participate in that youth hunt if they're with somebody like their dad or grandpa that has graduated from hunter's education?
Yeah. So the youth hunt is kind of treated like a mentored hunt, whether you have your safety or not. So anyone 15 and under can do it. So if you have hunter safety and you're 14 or 15 years old, you can technically hunt by yourself. So those kids could go out, opening of the traditional season, hunt by themselves. No one else could be on the whole 40 acres if they wanted. The youth hunt, they have, like a kid like that has to still be with a mentor. So like a 9-year-old, like you're explaining, 100% they're good to go. They have to be with a mentor during that youth hunt, and they would just buy the mentored youth or the mentored deer hunting license is what you would buy. Mm-hmm. But everyone 15 and under has to be accompanied during that hunt.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's if I want to take Hudson out, let's say he doesn't have hunter's ed, but I have hunter's ed, he technically could go out there and for that mentored hunt. Okay.
Yep, with you guys, and just check out the mentored hunting rules and the youth hunting rules. But yeah, nope, it's 100% good to go. Just make sure he has a license, you have a license, and you guys are out hunting.
So speaking of license, and I know, coming up here shortly, it's going to be the antlerless tags, and, different zones have different numbers. Well, and different species, whether it's like turkey hunting too, has different numbers available. Those numbers, I'm sure a lot of people wonder, how do you figure out, how many tags become available and that? Well, that's not necessarily your area, right, Jake? I mean, that comes from, is it like the council advisory committees and such?
Yeah, like the number of tags, there's a lot to it. So the short answer, like you just said, yeah, the wardens, we can maybe have input in the off season if they're asking about this or that, but our job is, just like any law enforcement, our job is just to enforce the regulations, do an investigation, and then we, give it over to the courts, 3 different separate powers of government. But the tags, the CDAC has a part of making like some more available than others in different counties. The state, the biologists, they do the herd count and they use the science to determine, how many deer do you think will be taken, how many can be taken, and do all those fancy numbers and stuff. And then legislators can come in and add different things. So there's just a lot to it. But yeah, every species is managed differently based off like the management style and like the hope. Like in Wisconsin, we need to kill more deer. There's no doubt about it. There's obviously areas that, the deer could recover better or people want more. But overall, the herd is at a very high number. And management or like deer managers want the deer numbers down.
Is there ever times, Jake, where you just want to, like, because I'm sure you probably get complaints about, the number of tags or do this. Do you just want to sometimes just tell the person, dude, I just enforce it, man. I don't make the rules.
We try our best to explain the system. Sometimes, yeah, we do need to tell people that, like, exactly that, like, hey, I'm just here, sometimes I'm just a messenger, but usually with a good conversation with someone, we can kind of get to the root of it and then explain, why this or that. You mentioned turkey. Turkey and deer are two totally different management, two different animals, two different management styles. One's been here forever, deer. One was extirpated, turkey, and then came back in the 70s or 80s, and we've been managing based off that. You have to manage them differently. Plus, you hunt them different times of the year. There's different pressure. There's different there's different ways to hunt them. So, it's just the numbers. You can't really it's like comparing apples to oranges. So, I trust our staff, our DNR biologist, and I think most of the public does too.
Jake, now that we are in August, do you see a transition from a lot of people that are probably out on the lake or the rivers fishing and kind of moving a little bit more into the woods? I mean, obviously last week we talked about bears and with dog trainers getting out there. When do you start to really see that transition from, I guess, water to woods?
I'd probably say it's happening, but the harder line will probably come closer to Labor Day weekend. I will say though, we went into Shields Fest last weekend, and we kind of had a booth. We do a lot of PR events as wardens, and that's a good one because obviously there's a lot of good sportsmen and women that go to Shields and whatnot. So we were just there all weekend answering questions for the public, this, and that. And when I was there, it was funny because another warden had stopped in, and we were kind of talking, and we looked around, and I think it was just for that moment, but there was 9, 10, 11 people walking by, and every single person had some sort of cell camera in their hands or in their cart. So to your question or to your point is yeah, it's on the people's mind. They're getting the cameras, they're getting their stuff ready. So people are getting ready, and rightly so. It's definitely almost that time. So
speaking of trail cameras and cell cameras, maybe just kind of a good refresher with that. Can people put those cameras on public land and leave them up on public land?
Yeah, so state land you can. They just have to be labeled with your customer identification number or your name, address, phone number. Most people do your customer ID, so you're not giving it out to everybody. But if you put a camera on state land, you just have to make sure that it's not in the campgrounds and stuff like that. And again, like I said, that you got the customer ID on it and that it's visible on the outside, so we don't have to manipulate the camera to open it up. So state land, they're allowed. The rest, private land, that's up to the private landowner. So if you're hunting on somebody else's private land, ask for, permission. They're legal to use across the state. It's just the permission of the landowner. So private land, if it's your land, obviously, if you're letting other people hunt it, they should be asking you. But, and then county land or other public lands, I'm pretty confident all 72 counties, the counties allow it, but it's always good to check because I know we've talked about jurisdiction and different things in the past, how there's local, there's county, there's state, there's federal lands. And, we call them public lands, but I really like to explain them as they're private land owned by the county, but open to the public for hunting, fishing, trapping, recreation. So they have their own set of rules, just like the state does on their land. So if you are going to hunt county land, you really want to just go and find their hunting page and look through what they do, because sometimes, they're going to allow it. Trail cameras are the most, used thing for hunting, it seems like these days. But double check that. Just some counties allow tree stands left overnight, like Clark County does if it's during the season, but others are the state where you can't leave them, like Eau Claire. So there's different counties that allow different things too, so it's good to see if you're going to hunt those properties what you can and can't do.
Jake, last question for you. This just kind of came at the top of my head here. I know we talk about it quite a bit during hunting season, but, roadkill and if somebody has hit a deer and whether you can keep it or the antlers, do those rules, are they the same during the off season? Because say somebody hits a nice buck, but it's in velvet and they're thinking, man, that would be cool to keep those antlers in velvet. Do the same rules apply all year long as they do during season when we usually talk about this?
Yep, 100%. Same rules apply 24/7, 365. So if you hit a deer, someone else hits a deer, you see one on the side of the road, they're free to take. You just have to call it in to a car kill deer hotline. And the 608 number, it's a Madison number. Basically, all you do is call. It says you reach the car kill deer hotline. You leave a voicemail saying who you are, what you picked up, and where you picked it up. And then they will, I don't even think they call you back. They'll just register it on your account. And so if you check your harvest history on Go Wild, you'll see a car kill deer registration. So if you're going to pick something up, that's what you got to do is you have to remove the whole animal. Can't just pull the antlers. You got to remove the whole animal, and then you got to get it registered. Other than that, you can choose what you want to do with it. If you want the antlers and it's a stinky bloated deer, you still got to remove it. You don't have to keep the deer. Obviously, you got to find a place to dispose of it legally, and then you can just take the antlers. That's fine. Same as if you hit one and it's, an officer comes and puts it out of its misery, and then you take it home and utilize it. Same thing. Get a car, register it, and you're good to go.
How, really quick, I know we haven't had a lot of rain. Have you noticed that in the rivers and in the waterways? Any safety concerns with that?
Definitely seeing it on the Chippewa River, the Black River, the Mississippi. I'm getting pictures from some of the wardens that are walking across parts of the Mississippi,
Wow.
Backwaters, little channels, stuff like that. But still areas where, it's a boat launch. There's a boat launch there, but it just goes down to, dirt. And then I was over at the Caryville boat launch this weekend patrolling. And to put your boat in on Caryville, which is the Chippewa just outside of town, if you're not familiar with it, you got to basically back your truck to the middle of the river to get to the main channel because it's just dried up around the boat launch there. So, it's dry. We should definitely use some rain coming into the fall. In, especially to fill up some of those puddles for the ducks when they start migrating and stuff like that. It'd be good to get some rain.
Absolutely.
Some more rain.
Yeah. Well, he's Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin. Dude, as always, appreciate the time. Be safe, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Okay, bud?
Yeah, as always, thanks for having me. It's great chatting with you. We'll talk soon.
You got it. There you go. There's Jake Bolks, again, state game warden for the great state of Wisconsin. We got to take our final break. We'll wrap up the third hour, and then Brewers reporter Hunter Baumgart joins us just past 9 o'clock. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. There's always a lot of things going on at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, and, that's the case coming up on Saturday. From Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can join Hy-Vee in Eau Claire for their Demo Fest, back-to-school Demo Fest, that is. Sample products from brands that you will only find at Hy-Vee, and you can get a head start on the school season, too. And don't forget, they've got the bus over there to help stuff the bus going from now until August 16th. Okay, so donate at the register and help stuff the bus for our back-to-school bucks with our sister stations, Grace Hits 98.1, I-94, and 92.9 The X. So you probably have seen the bus sitting out over by Hy-Vee, so let's stuff that thing. And as always, don't forget to check the flyer, see what you can save on this week, like $2.99 Tombstone pizzas. How about $3.99 salad kits? Salad kits are huge in our house for some quick lunches. And when you do some shopping there, take advantage of the perks, too, so you can save some money at the gas pump with Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Big thanks again to Jake for joining us. I know we got a couple questions in late, so next time we chat with Jake, I'll try to remember to get those on over to Jake. So as always, you can send them ahead of time. That way we could get those to Jake, 715-830-1912. And we can get those questions to Jake. Make sure we get those questions to Jake so he can answer them for you. Coming up just past the top of the hour, we'll chat with Hunter Baumgart, Brewers reporter, our good buddy. Will be joining us post-trade season. And then coming off the win last night, Kyle Harris's return, Dustin May's appearance for the Brewers coming our way here in just a few hours, just this afternoon. So we'll talk with Hunter coming up here in a little bit. We'll get back to some more football talk here as Packers camp continues. We're going to hear from Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur a little bit later on this morning before practice. So we'll see what those two have to say. But we heard from the coordinators yesterday, Jonathan Gannon, Adam Stenavich, Cam Acord. Cam Acord, if you did not watch his presser, go watch it. That guy could, I mean, every coach should be a teacher, but this guy really gives some major teaching vibes. Getting down and demonstrating how to hold the football and explaining why they hold it this way and that way. If you want to learn a little bit more about a kicking operation, you can go ahead and watch that. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit more football. Javon Bullard, could he potentially be one of the most important defensive players, especially the first few weeks of the season until Micah Parsons comes back? Is he kind of a wild card defensive player for this group? I'll explain that coming up a little bit later on in the 9 o'clock hour. But we've talked about that 3 safety lineup, that 3 safety group on the defensive side, and Xavier McKinney's in there, Evan Williams. We talk about those two. Javon Bullard played a little bit more of that nickel slot role, and maybe a little slightly different role for Javon Bullard this year. And he could be a critical player, critical piece to the overall success of this defense. We'll explain that coming up in the next hour. If you did not get me your 3 ups and 3 downs, like stock risers, stock fallers, 3 sports things that are on the rise, 3 sports-related items that are down, falling down. Refresher, mine were 3 up, Logan Henderson, Kyle Harrison, and young running backs looking to get PAID paid. My downs, Christian Yelich, even though he had a couple hits and an RBI, hopefully he can continue to stack some success there. Got to build upon that. Dodgers, got to throw them in there. They're falling down. 6-game losing streak for the Dodgers, right? Which, great. We're probably like, yeah, all right. But the Cubs just beat them 3 in a row. So it's like, it'd have to be the Cubs. But hey, I'm a little nervous with the Cubs, man. I'm getting a little bit nervous. My other stock follower was Keyshawn Nixon, too. Sounds like at least some of the videos, and I know Bill Huber had him in a little bit of a stock faller, too, in one of his latest pieces a couple days ago. So hopefully turn it around. Could add Brandon Cisse in your top 30. Seems like good stuff coming out of camp from him. Could put Trace Mack in the field goal operation, maybe, and some stock fallers, too. Maybe not the greatest start to training camp. But, hey, whatever you got, participate in the program. Send me them. 3 up, 3 down. Okay? But, again, we'll kick off the final hour, the happy hour of the program, chatting with our good buddy, Brewers reporter Hunter Baumgart, Brewers reporter for Fox Sports Radio 920, host of the baseball pregame show and Milwaukee Baseball Tonight on Fox Sports 920. So we chatted with Hunter last week ahead of the trade deadline. We'll get his thoughts on what the Brewers did at the deadline. Does he like the moves? And then recapping Kyle Harrison's return last night, looking ahead to Dustin May's start this afternoon. So Hunter will be joining us here. And like Rob from yesterday, if you can't listen to Hunter, if you're going to miss parts of it, those interviews will always be available on the Man Cave podcast. A big thanks. We've had a lot more listens and downloads on the Man Cave podcast, so appreciate that. If you have a few seconds, don't forget to give it a 5-star rating and a positive review. 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, and then on Apple, a positive review. It